Hello, and welcome to what is sure to be an insane tutorial on a massive farm. You read the title right. No, I'm not clickbaiting you. This is a Vault Hunter's farm that will turn cobblestone into diamonds, as well as an entire slew of other things. It's a pretty big and complicated farm, as you can see below me, so we're going to take it step by step. So this farm is going to be broken up into modules, and I'm going to try to go over each one, right? It's just one machine tacked onto another, and that's the best way to think about it, to hopefully not get terribly confused. So modular 1 is pretty easy. It's just a cobblestone generator because, we need the cobble. So you can see there are drills. Maybe it's easier to see in the back. There are these drills, okay? And they are waterlogged with a source of lava right here. That flows down, creates cobblestone. The cobblestone is broken by the drills, goes through these chutes onto these belts, and there you go. That's module number 1. You're just creating cobblestone and moving it through belts. I have this whole farm powered with one power source just to show that it is practical in survival mode. This isn't something that needs 19,000 power sources. Any belts you see that are marked red are belts that don't move items. I just wanted to remove some confusion. So you could generally do this however you'd like, but you can see I've got 9 drills here, each of them waterlogged, each of them with their own lava source block. And the power routes through all of them connected with the belt. We pull it downwards with gears, and connect these up to belts. So there's module number 1 is a cobblestone generator. Now, module number 2 is these crushing wheels, but right before it, you see we have these brass tunnels. That's just so that we could split off some of the cobble and store it. You don't have to do this, but if you do want to store the cobblestone for the vaulter, you absolutely can. But yeah, simply enough, you're just going to move your cobblestone into some crushing wheels. The way I've done these crushing wheels is by the large cog setup, right? Pretty easy, just 2 large cogs right on top of them, 1 guy in the middle, and this guy is powered by this line, this belt that goes down. I've got some power routing under here, and we just have it connected to this gearbox that sends the rotational power upwards so that we can send it into the crushing wheels. And I have, of course, some gear shifts just to make sure they're spinning in the correct direction. And now we have moved on to gravel, as you can see. So module 3 is exactly the same as module 2. It's just another crushing wheel setup. And once again, I use this red belt just to move the rotational power from this crushing wheel setup to this crushing wheel setup. You don't have to have it all running off of one thing. You could, of course, have 2 different sources of rotation for these, but I thought it looked cleaner. Now, if we wanted, we could store the gravel just like we stored the cobblestone. Here, I haven't done that, just to show you it's not necessary. For module 3, it's the exact same setup, right? It's just another crushing wheel setup. I didn't pull rotational power from underneath the floor. I just moved it with this belt over to this one. But you can see we do have a bunch of tunnels. Once again, I'm storing the sand just to show you it's possible. And also because here is where the farm is most likely to back up. We'll get into that later. But you do need tunnels because when you crush gravel, you get flint and clay. And those need to go somewhere other than the sand. So you can use tunnels. The way tunnels work is when you place them onto belts, it will split items between them. And you can see we filtered sand comes out of this one. And this filter here, I'll grab it really quick. It deleted it. Well, I suppose I can show you. You want to set it to an allow list. And you want it, or rather, you want to set a deny list. I'm sorry. You want to set it to a deny list of sand. So sand will not be allowed to come through this belt. Everything else, which is going to be your flint and your clay byproduct. And the reason this is going to be backing up is because of the next module, the Haunter. We need to turn our sand into soul sand. So I have 5 Haunters, which is just a campfire with an encased fan running beneath it. You can see I pull rotational power under this and I run just one big belt into our fans that haunt our sand into soul sand. You don't want anything other than soul sand coming through here, so once again we have more tunnels. I use tunnels just because you can store some more soul sand if you'd like to. You don't need to use 2 tunnels, though. You could just use 1 to block the sand until it turns into soul sand. You'll want to filter it like that. And for our final create step, same as before, except instead of campfires, you're using water to wash your soul sand into quartz and gold nuggets. Now, this is not the most perfect way you could do this, right? These belts could be longer to prevent this stopping, right? The longer they are, the more time that the items have to be haunted or washed. And, you know, maybe you don't want to store any excess resources. But just in review, you're going to want a cobblestone generator, into crushing wheels to turn it into gravel, into crushing wheels to turn it into sand, flint, and clay. You'll want to filter out the flint and clay and haunt your sand into soul sand and wash that soul sand into quartz and gold. Okay, great job making it this far. This next chapter is going to require you to have easy villagers, okay? So make sure you have easy villagers unlocked, because this is where we're going to be turning our cobble into emeralds and then diamond armor. And for this, you are going to need a mason who has a trade for nether quartz for emeralds, preferably 1 nether quartz for 1 emerald. Normally you won't be able to duplicate him, but I'm in creative. And you're going to need an auto trader, which can be expensive with the black chromatic steel, but a little bit of grinding and you will get an auto trader. You will need another auto trader for an armorer who has 1 emerald trades for any diamond armor piece. And here's my little villager reserve. So pretty simply, you're going to want to put your auto trader onto a belt or however way you want to move your items. There's no requirement. You're going to want to make sure, you're going to want to make sure that you have enough space to do this. Here, we'll move the auto trader here. We'll put our funnel there, and we will put a funnel here, and we only want the funnel to take out quartz. The quartz is going to fill up the input items, and we can put our mason, boop, in there, and you're probably going to want to give him his workstation, which I believe is a stone cutter. So let me just grab that from the creative menu, hit my desk. And we are going to tell him to trade quartz for an emerald, and there we go. Then you're going to extend your belt out even further so you have enough space. Once again, we are going to put our armor in here with the blast furnace, I believe is their workstation, like so. And just funnels. Again, they don't necessarily have to be brass. And that will, that'll start wasting all your stuff. You just want to make sure that it is converting it into diamond armor. Perfect. Okay, that chapter was much easier than the last one. And the next one is no different. You are going to need thermal expansion unlocked for this. So make sure you have thermal expansion unlocked. Thermal expansion also requires some sort of power generation, such as iron furnaces or power. So you need to have that too. And from thermal expansion, you'll need your pulverizer, which is not too bad. Just costing a machine frame is kind of the most expensive thing. And quite simply, just like we do with the easy villagers, you're going to want to extend your belt. Put your pulverizer on the belt. Get some funnels moving that diamond armor into the pulverizer. Now for the pulverizer, you're going to want to set up its configuration. So we're going to ask it, I believe this is from the back, to auto input. Is that? No, that is not wanting to do that. Ah, that was the top. My bad. Then I'm thinking this is probably the back. There we go. Okay, so you're going to want to click on the bottom right one until it's blue. Turn on auto input enable to make sure that it is pulling in what you want. And you might as well turn, I guess you could turn auto output onto the bottom, and it should output onto the belt. And then why don't we set down a little drawer at the end of it just to collect all of our diamonds, because once we give this power, it should start producing. So there we go. And I'm going to use a creative energy cell, any form of power routed into it. And you can see it is going to begin pulverizing the diamond chest plate into diamond gems. There we go. And the diamond gems are going to go right into the drawer. I can put a quantify key just to show you all. And congratulations, you have just turned cobblestone all the way over here into diamonds all the way over here, and this will run forever because you have an absolutely limitless supply of cobblestone. Now, just to this farm, there are some very obvious improvements that could be made, such as more masons, right? Because the villagers will only trade so much in a single day. So, you could also see it actually increases the cost. So maybe you want to zombify them more, or maybe you don't want to go through zombifying them because it will apply the negative modifiers to your costs because you're trading with them a lot. But yes, more of these guys to produce more emeralds, for more of these guys to produce more diamonds. The farm, of course, over the course of when running it, we've collected 550 soul sand that could have been washed. So, if I were to destroy this tunnel and just leave this one, right? Now all the sand turns into soul sand, and all the soul sand is washed and turned into gold nuggets and quartz. So we're producing more quartz, though, because at a certain point, this will get pretty expensive. You can also technically increase the speed of the farm, but I wouldn't recommend it because you would need to make these sections very long where the washing and the haunting happens. But if that's something you're willing to do, or if you know a way to compact this much more, you can. And what's really cool about this farm is it could actually be powered by one windmill. I'm using a creative motor just for convenience, but in fact, I'll prove it. I'll prove that this farm can be ran by a single windmill. Okay, so this windmill monstrosity should have all 128 fans or sails attached to it. That makes it run at full power. It is routed into a rotation speed controller. The rotation speed controller is the easiest bit expensive. Honestly, it's more so the precision mechanism than anything. But if you are able to afford the windmill and some of the other more expensive parts of this is more of a mid-game farm than anything. That shouldn't be much of a problem. And if I turn this on, there you go. The whole speed powered by a single windmill, because here on the DJojo show, when we do things right. In fact, you can see there's even some remaining stress capacity if you wanted to add more to this, like taking some of the sand and pulling it out here, and instead of haunting it, smelting it into glass, or even smelting your cobblestone into smooth stone, which would be very useful. Or if you even wanted, you could take it up 1, 2, just 1. Okay, not 2. But you could even take it up to a speed of 80, leaving you with 1,000 left and making this farm move much, much quicker. So this could be anything you want it to be. It could be super fast. There's a little bit of waste of cobblestone, but cobblestone kind of backs up anyway, so it doesn't matter much. It could be super fast. It could be super versatile. You could store as much or as little as you want. In fact, another upgrade you can make is taking the gold nuggets inside of this drawer and filtering them out into a compacting drawer. Because you can see if I take some gold nuggets and place it into a compacting drawer, it turns into gold ingots as well as gold blocks when relevant. There you go. And using these brass funnels, you could pull out gold ingots and filter them into a barterer from Easy Piglins. Now, obviously, you can see there are 17 gold nuggets in this drawer. It's very slow. It does not produce a whole lot of them, but over time you'll end up producing a lot, and you can produce pretty much anything inside of this chest. Spectral arrows, boots, enchanted boots, water bottles, potions, ender pearls, which is pretty big, leather, more nether quartz that you could even filter back into the system, iron, gravel, obsidian, soul sand, blackstone, these weird boots, string, fire charges. So you can turn cobble into a remarkable amount of things. In fact, you could use the clay byproduct to produce even more gold. And you know what? I think I'll show this system off. Ta-da! I've added it. So, let's go through this. What we do here is we're going to take our clay balls out of our flint and clay storage and send them into this guy right here. I actually have to make sure that this guy has power. You can add shafts to belts by just right-clicking a shaft onto the belt. Okay, you can see this guy is now spinning, and they are going to be packing the clay balls into clay blocks. The clay blocks are going to be smelted into terracotta. We are going to mill the terracotta. And by the way, I should say you could also use mills here and here. I think crushing mills are better, but don't quote me on that. But we're going to mill the terracotta into red sand. Right next to it, we're pulling out the gold nuggets produced by the soul sand, but we'll get to that. the red sand is going to be washed into gold nuggets, more gold nuggets than this, and at a higher amount and a higher percentage, as well as dead bushes. The gold nuggets are going to come out here into our compacting drawer. We're going to pull the ingots, which I've lost the filter of. Let me make sure I do this. There we go. The gold ingots are going to come out of here into a barterer, and I actually did not put the piglin inside of it either. So let me just pop this guy down, pick him up. Okay, I can't pick up aggressive or busy piglins. I guess this guy's busy dying. There we go. Piglin's going to go in here. That is an important part of it. So the ingots are going to flow through here, go into the piglin. Piglin's going to trade. The items are going to come out of this funnel, into this funnel, and into this chest. And of course, we have our excess gold nuggets moving on yonder. They'll go through this tunnel system here that will spit them out right there. And the dead bushes, get this, are going to go into a Sterling dynamo to be smelted into power. So we're using every single byproduct of this farm. Just an editor's note here, you do not produce enough dead bushes to power the pulverizer in the long run. I get a little overexcited here. I recommend using another power source unless you have some way to produce more red sand. And by the way, just to showcase here the price fluctuation of the villager, you can see now it's 6, it was 24 at a time, so this thing is going to move up and down, but even while I've been building this, we've produced more than a stack of diamonds completely infinitely. Okay, and now to set the filters. I don't know why this filter keeps disappearing, but I'd like it to be clay balls. Oop! Ah, yes, let's put a funnel on that so it actually works. Whoopsies. Let's try that. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just get all of our clay back in our drawer. But you can see, yes, it is turning into clay. The clay is turning into terracotta. The terracotta is right. I need a funnel. I'm a very silly guy sometimes. Create is all about making mistakes, okay? So I know a lot of people always feel very intimidated by create, but please don't. You can see, I'm even doing a tutorial and messing everything up. That is just because that's the nature of create. You're just going to make mistakes. There we go. This guy is going to produce us the red sand. Hopefully. Do I need another funnel? There we go. Okay, we need another funnel. Now our red sand is going to wait until it is broken down into the nuggets. There we go. There's some gold nuggets. Oh, we're having another problem now. Let's make sure our filters are set up correctly. Let's get that guy moved too. I wonder. Interesting. Oh, okay. Well, you could see from our excess gold nuggets, the piglin is trading. You can tell because he's got the ingot in his hand. We even have another gold ingot there. So that's quite good. Give me a second to figure out why these guys are causing some problems. Oh, because there's a terracotta inside of it because we need to set another filter for this guy. Excuse me. We need to set the filter to allow gold ingots, rather gold nuggets, as well as dead bushes. We want to make sure that it doesn't contain anything inside of it. Other than that, usually it's not a problem, but I will just take out the terracotta, and there we go. Things are moving. Gold ingots are moving. They're being sent to the piglin, who will trade them when he is ready, and you can see Ender Pearl, Soul Sand, Fire Charge, Blackstone, and I believe we should see power in the Sterling Dynamo. Yep. We are now producing every single piglin tradable, as well as powering the pulverizer that we use to make our diamonds. And look at that, we've made even more diamonds in the time I was troubleshooting. Funny thing too, you could use the sand and actually wash it into clay balls to get even more gold production out of this. So I know we've made this farm pretty complicated after adding the piglin stuff, so I just want to go over it one more time for you guys. And please, if you have comments, join the Discord into Vault Hunters Talk. Ask some questions. I'd be more than happy to help us out. This is going to be a world download in the description. I'll remove my little... Actually, no. I'll not remove my little testing chest so you guys could have some, handy villagers and stuff to help you out if you want to design a little more. Create is super malleable, which is why I've used it for all of our item transportation and splitting, but you could use other mods like Mekanism pipes and stuff, if that is what you like. But just a final overview, we have this whole farm entirely powered by one windmill, one max windmill. And you can see after adding the piglin stuff, and I'll put goggles on so you can see, we have an teensy bit. We have used pretty much all of our speed off of a rotation speed controller going at 64 RPM. We have a drill-based cobblestone generator. The chutes transport the cobblestone onto the belts and sometimes kind of throw them all over the place. Our cobblestone is split off to be stored, though we've maxed out our storage, and sent through crushing wheels to be turned into gravel. The gravel is sent through more crushing wheels to be turned into sand, flint, and clay. The sand is haunted, turned into soul sand, which is washed, turned into gold and quartz. The quartz is traded in an auto trader with a mason into emeralds, which immediately goes to be traded to a armorer for diamond chest plates or diamond leggings or whatever diamond armor you have. And use diamond armor, not diamond tools, you get more diamonds. In a pulverizer, it is pulverized into diamond gems. We're also taking our clay balls and compacting them into clay blocks. And also just make sure you have this recipe filter in for clay blocks. The clay blocks are smelted into terracotta blocks, which are then milled into red sand, which is then washed into gold nuggets and dead bushes. The gold nuggets, as well as the gold nuggets produced by the soul sand, are funneled into a compacting drawer to be crafted into gold ingots and sent to a piglin to be traded into every single piglin bartering item. And the dead bushes are sent into a sterling dynamo that will power the pulverizer that crushes the armor into diamonds. And there you have it. I do not even want to count the number of items that this farm produces, but it's probably one of the most fun. Is it the most efficient way to produce each of these items? No, not necessarily, but it's a fun project for mid-game, and I hope that it inspires you guys to create other farms similar to it. If this helped, or if you enjoyed it, or if you just like my voice, please leave a comment, let me know, like and subscribe. This farm took a while to design, and thanks for sticking around for it.